And hi there. Hi there. Um, Try to make this quick. I've got some thoughts running around and I have not quite distilled them down. They are not gelled into what I call steno format yet. They're neuroscience stuff that I'm going, oh, I see that works. That's interesting. Why does that work? How does that work? And can that work for steno? And you guys know when I say steno, I mean everything, masks, machines, pen write, I don't care. However you capture the record, as long as you're the one swearing them the witness, capturing the record, signing your certificate page, and the transcript's not going to Mumbai getting transcribed. Other than that, I'm all good. I made a note here as I was flashing through this training, and the thought came to me that there's a difference between in speed. When we think about speed, because I did this whole hour-long thing on bending time and how time is relative, and time is a mental construct in the 3D world. See what I mean? I'm not ready to actually, what the hell is that hair doing? I'm not actually ready to put this into a sequential format, but if any of it makes sense, go with it. Do any of you guys practice with a metronome? You know, just so that you set it at a certain speed and you're doing hard copy text and just making yourself stay on the click of the metronome. It actually will help you from hesitating because it makes you have to hit that next beat. And you can then turn up the speed to make yourself go faster. Because honestly, left to your own devices, you will hang back to where it's comfortable. Comfortable will never get you better. You will just get better at being comfortable. And that's wonderful, as long as you only ever have one client and that client talks really slowly and very distinctly and never has any other people in the room that don't talk like that. And then you'll be fine. You don't need to have the ability to grab bursts of speed and recover from sloppy notes going at damn near and often over 300 words a minute, and then having that recovering ability. So there is a difference in doing a hard copy, that speed, and doing it with a metronome, that speed. There will be a hesitation left to your own devices. Working with a metronome, and there's all kinds of them on the phone, you will stay on the beat and you can make the beat faster, which will push yourself to be faster. Always push yourself to do the hard thing. As Molly Cooper said, and she should know, out of school past California CSR in 1 year, 1 month, and 13 days. Let's listen to what the girl has to say. Don't ever practice the stuff that's easy. Just don't, unless at the very end of the day, take one short, very easy take and walk away saying, doesn't matter what happened during the rest of the day. I'm amazing. Look what I just did. And it gives your brain some food of, I am an incredible reporter. Look what I did. All that other stuff that was painful and distracting mentally during the day, the stuff I didn't get, that's okay. We were just doing exercises and pushing ourselves to a higher limit. This is what I actually am capable of doing, and it's incredible. And then you'll realize that 6 months ago, that easy take at the end of the day was way slower than the easy take at the end of the day today. Because you're always increasing in speed, whether you think you are or not. So time is relevant. And if it's relevant, then let's bend it. And I've got some actually really great kind of time bending exercises. And I'll give you one here right now. Imagine a timeline, like, you know, there's the past, there's the future, however, wherever it is for you, there's like a diagonal going through your body, through the center of your body somewhere where you, or maybe your mind, but where you visualize the past and the future and where you are presently on your timeline. So think about that timeline and think about all the little increments of Could be minutes, could be hours, days, could be events, but there's those little hash marks on your timeline going along. Just look at that timeline and feel it where it is in your body. And take a deep breath, because every time we take a deep breath, we anchor in an understanding of where something is in our body. We're getting connected, all the parts. Looking at that timeline and all those little hash marks, I want you to stretch that timeline out. Just visually in your mind, just feel yourself pulling it out so that the little lines come apart. All the little hash marks are now farther and farther and farther apart. Take a deep breath. Tell me that doesn't feel pretty good. Now, put them back to where they were normally. And now I want you to take that timeline and I want you to compress it. I want you to squish that thing down and notice that the space between the hash marks is closing. And they're all becoming squished together, compressed, compacted. And now, and I'm feeling it in my body. What does that feel like? When I did this exercise, when I was being trained, I remember like I was the one in the class that said, oh dear God, that's what I feel like every day. And he looked at me and he said, and you don't have to. Stretch your timeline back out. And now actually when you stretch it back to normal, it feels better, but you have the ability to stretch it out. We have different perceived speeds. There's a difference between your actual testing speed and the perceived speed in a take. And although I can't describe it, I know you know what I'm talking about. In those moments where the material is more dense and it's a little bit faster than is comfortable, but you're getting it, compared to the really easy take where it's not as fast and your fingers are just effing all over the place and in a test when you know it's not that fast, but you're stumbling all over the place. You're fighting yourself. Actually, you're up here analyzing how you're writing. You're not in your heart, in your subconscious, allowing the writing to happen. When you're up here, time is compressed. When you're down here, time is expanded. Time is limitless. Frankly, there is no time here. Up here, everything is either the past or the future. There is no now. So we're either worrying about all the bad stuff that has happened and realizing that, well, that's all I have to compare to. So if the bad stuff's all happened over here, then that's what's going to happen again in the future. Replicating, giving you more of what you're focusing on. This is all it understands, the past and the future. And the future is always unknown. And it's always afraid of the unknown. So it's always going to be afraid of the future, no matter how bright the future is. Down here, everything is happening now. And if everything's happening now, and this part of you doesn't have a concept of sequential time, then this part of you can hear words faster than they are spoken. This part of you can maintain what it just heard, focusing on what it's coming in right now and anticipating what's actually coming next. And if you stay out of that conversation, that part of you will write brilliantly. The last thing on my notes here was the tempo of your emotions, which is why when I ask you guys to meditate, to at least start the day with 5 minutes of bringing yourself to center, breathing and calm, grounded and anchored for the day. Because there's a correlation between the tempo of your emotions. That all of a sudden, boom, like my emotional chart, just there's a chart of emotions, there's a chart of frequencies, there's a chart of is it megahertz, hertz, the different tones of the universe, the different frequencies and what they all mean. And all of a sudden I just had a brain flash about how that correlates with where we are when we're practicing and when we're nailing it and when we're passing it, and then when we drop back to the next speed and start all over again in total frustration. I'm going to work on that one. Anyway, I wrote down tempos of emotions. Fast fear is anxiety. You want to get out of anxiety? Slow down the fear to the point where you can get on top of the fear, where you can look at it for what it is and analyze, do I have something to actually be afraid of? Is there an actual threat to my physical existence on this plane? Or is this a construct of my mind? Is it the thought that this thing could be dangerous and could be a threat? Because this part of your brain, it thinks everything's a threat. Everything is a threat except the butterfly on the flower, but we're not going to look at that. And actually, if it sat long enough, it could figure out how the butterfly on the flower is a threat. It really could. It'll connect the dots. It's kind of crazy. So fast fear is anxiety. Slow fear is dread. So when you get down to that place on your emotional frequency chart where you're just giving up, you've got no motivation left, you feel depressed, you feel dread, you feel hopelessness, that, and you can feel how heavy that feels in your body, because you have allowed your whole body to drop into a frequency of slow fear, dread. And so to get out of that, you're going to have to deliberately make movement. You know, like when you are standing still and you want to go over there, you've actually got to take a deep breath and pick up a foot and put it in front of the other one and move forward. That's you doing it. That's not the universe doing it. That's you making a conscious, deliberate choice to move forward, to move that energy into a higher place of success and accomplishment and passing tests. We've got to get way past the low, heavy frequencies, because otherwise it's like you're riding in molasses, and leave that dense, heavy stuff below where it belongs, and travel up until it feels light and airy and thin, and you feel fast without fear. I'm going to go do some stuff, work with another student this morning, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.